On this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast, we're just pitching new spin-offs of Supernatural for Jensen Ackles. Like, what about Crowley as Satan, Cassiel as God, and then we just call it like Cass and Crow, and then they just like have infernal shenanigans.
Or The Dispatchers, and we've got our new favorite demon, Ellsworth, and Bobby Singer getting shit done. One serving heaven, one serving hell. Let's do this. Welcome to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. I'm Diana.
I'm Liz.
And we are almost to the end of season 6. We're at season 6, episode 20, The Man Who Would Be King.
The Man Who Would Be King. It sounds like a song, right?
It does. It sounds like something like that.
What's up with you? What's going on? Woo.
I was gonna be like, oh yeah, I did all these things, but then I was trying what did I do recently? Oh, so I went, what have I been up to? I went and saw the Longhorn Ballroom Players, which is a newly established house band at the Longhorn Ballroom.
Y'all have a house band now?
Yeah, we have two. We have an R&B and a country one. Pretty cool, really fun night. And we got some pool time in, and we went to our anniversary dinner. Me and Babe went and had
happy anniversary.
Thanks. We had a delicious dinner at Town Hearth in Dallas.
Did you get a steak?
We actually didn't get a steak. We got we had martinis and bubbles and martinis, and then we had
you got
their
drunk.
special. Yes. We had one of their specials was a grilled peaches with mascarpone and prosciutto, and we had that, and then their insane bacon. You had that with us, I think, for a four. It's
I think so, yeah.
Crazy bacon, yeah. And then we had one of their other specials was filet medallions with the really those stupid good tomatoes and onion and blue cheese and stuff. So it's kind of like a deconstructed salad kind of vibe. And then we had Wagyu asada French fries.
Fuck yeah!
So I had steak stuff, but I didn't have a steak.
Yeah.
So it was delicious.
That sounds
as
lovely.
usual. It was a lovely evening. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to celebrating Babe's birthday this upcoming week.
Woohoo! Happy birthday, Babe.
Yeah. How about you? You've got all kinds of excitement going on.
Isn't it exciting? I don't know. I just moved my house, or a part of my house, and it's very exhausting. And some tips I might have, if you're moving into houses. One, you may want to visit your house in the evening. Before you rent it, just to see how dark your house actually is. Because, oh boy, is my house quite dark.
Really?
Well, I think also it should be supplemented by lamps, and my lamps did not get moved because my moving company fucked me over, or I don't know, but my lamps are still at my house.
Got it.
So those
lamps are important.
They are important, but also I would have no idea where to plug them in right now because the house is completely just boxes and floors, and I don't know, there's boxes that are in the garage. I don't know where those are supposed to go. There's my boxes from my kitchen are in my living room, and so I don't know where my underwear is, and my bed broke.
Still?
Yeah, no, I still don't know where my underwear is. I haven't had time to look for it.
But you found the coffee maker. That's important.
I finally found the coffee maker just buried in the bottom of things. So that was made, and I don't know. So it's I don't know. I was just there's my list of things to do. I don't have a broom right now because the broom's at the other house, and it's is it faster for me to go get a broom or just to wait until tomorrow?
It's kind of a coin flip at that point.
Yeah, there's just so many things get sucked down into boxes that you don't realize you're gonna need until you're just where's the toothpaste? Isn't it
that sucks.
Yeah, so I found the toothpaste, but I couldn't find my lipsticks, and so before we started filming, I was running around trying and I finally found a lipstick, and I just kind of smudged it on just to make it look like I wasn't dead, and then wiped it off. Because that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay. Reasonable. Moving is stressful. That's one of the things that keeps me every once in a while. I'm like, man, I bet we could like, we can move out a little bit, get a little more like space and stuff. And I'm like, oh, but then I have to actually move. Fuck that.
Well, it's it's exciting, but it's
good.
also
No, it is exciting though.
It's you'd forget, like, and I used to move all the time, like not all the time, but on a much more frequent basis.
Frequently, yeah.
And I think like as a child or a youth, and your bones are much more resilient, and you had just own a lot less shit because you're young and poor, and you just don't have a lot of stuff. And then like you become a middle-aged woman who has disposable income because you have no children, and then a pandemic happens, and then online shopping and a pandemic happens, and then you realize you have acquired the internet, all the occult books on the internet, and you have to move all the books.
And books are heavy to move.
The books are so heavy to move. But that's why you hire people to do them, and hopefully they're not stupid and they move your books for you, and you don't have to. Anyways, vet your movers and make a plan, and try not to look. I mean, some of these things were not my fault. Like, I've had a lot of shit thrown on me in these past few weeks. Like, I went to Cincinnati last week too, like, which. I have nothing to say about that. Like, I went to Cincinnati. I did nothing. I literally did nothing.
Skyline chili?
I ate no fucking chili. Like, I ate at the pizza restaurant across the street from my shitty hotel. It was not a shitty hotel. It was a medium. It was a basic hotel. It was like the Jennifer Garner of hotels, right? It was fine. So it was. And then I flew back, and then I flew Baltimore, and I was like, I had a long layover, and I was like, oh, I could go sneak out and get drinks with my friends. And then I was a chicken shit because my Clear had been fucking up. There's something going on with my Clear where I'm in the system, but I had to go to a pod to update it. And I think it's because I had a new license since the Clear thing. But I'm about to change my address anyways, as I just moved. So I want to
wait?
But I'm like, do I want to do that before before I fly out of the country, or just leave? Because I don't. You can't change your passport, right? And my IDs need to match. So. We'll see. Maybe I didn't move yet. Maybe I've got a couple more months until I move, or we'll see what's delayed when this podcast comes out. But
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so moving stressful. Plan ahead. Pay people to do shit. Maybe pay them more money than I did. I don't know. I thought I paid them enough. Who knows? So. I think that's it.
And then you're getting ready to go. Well, you got an exciting plan this weekend, though, right?
What's this weekend? No.
You going to see ghosts? Is that this weekend?
No, that's next weekend.
Okay.
This weekend is, if you're in San Antonio, Alamo HeroCon's this weekend. That'll be up at Shirts, but there's no supernatural people going this time around. No, this weekend I'm going to try and find a way to go get my Jeep from...
Oh, that's right.
That's so it's going to be trying to figure vehicle rotation,
vehicle transport. Yeah.
But at least my little beastie, she has a new battery in her. So because I was mean to her and let her sit in the garage for a while without being hooked up to her trickle like she was supposed to be, so she had to get a new battery put in, but she got some fluids changed. She got a little cleanse. Sometimes she used to get a little detox before.
Well, Jeepy spa day.
She had a little spa day, so she's gonna get and go to her new home.
Nice.
So.
So I guess we better talk about this episode.
Sure. All right. So we're not really excited about it, and there's fun things in this episode, but
there are, and I get that it drives plot. I'm just,
Well, I was also thinking about it, and I think this is what happens when you tease your audience and kill what you supposed to be the big bad before your season finale. So you had basically your season finale. So where do you go from there, right? So you have to go back down. The only way you have to get the excitement for a season finale, you got to go back up. You can't run at level we just killed Eve.
It already climaxed.
Yeah, you already climaxed, so you've got to have a little time really down and get some little more, have a breather, then get some more foreplay, so you get excited again. So I think this is us we're lying in bed, not that satisfied. We've just faked our orgasm. And The Man Who Would Be King, and that comes from a short story by Rudyard Kipling, and that was also a film in 1975. Thank you for Supernatural Wiki for doing this for me. Also, something my beloved companion book is buried somewhere in a. I think it may be in the box that says Supernatural, but I doubt it. There was a 1975 film that had by John Huston, and that had Sean Connery and Michael Caine in it, that's pretty awesome. Like two big people, but it's about the story of these two ex-officers from the British Raj who like went into India, and then like they go to a remote village, and like people start worshiping them. It's really bad. It's a bad message. Like everything about it's not good.
It's like a weird colonization thing.
It's colonization, and it's just like the whole story and savior shit. Like it's ew. But I think there's also that kind of goes with this episode, right? It's kind of like.
So cringy.
This episode kind of makes you, except for like my hot lover. This first aired May 6, 2011, and was both directed and written by Ben Edlund, which I think is an interesting thing when you have the writer direct. Like,
yeah,
I think a lot of good stuff happens from that. So this episode is cringy, but there's some really good stuff in it. So we're going to just start off with Cass and memories.
Cass is monologuing. He does that a lot in this episode.
Is it? I think it's narration, though. I don't think it's monologue.
It is. You're right. He does a couple monologues, but you're right. The proper word is narration. That's
because he's telling. It's like a dear reader type thing, or a dear listener, dear viewer, I guess.
But in the beginning, he's talking. It sounds like he's talking to somebody, and so this is kind of like our kickoff. He looks real sad, and he's reminiscing about all the things that he's witnessed, from fish coming to shore, the Tower of Babel,
which apparently was made out of crap. And also, while they're doing this, they're showing clips from Douche Canoe, D.W. Griffith's Intolerance. I'm just going to leave that there.
Talking about divine wrath, Cain and Abel, David and Goliath, Sodom and Gomorrah. But the most remarkable event never happened because two boys, an old drunk, and a fallen angel stopped it from happening.
What time is it? It's time for a montage. Who loves a montage? We love a montage. I honestly do. I love a montage, but I feel like the montage needs like better music than this. This is just like a sad montage. I want like fight music. Like, can you imagine if you took this episode right here and you just like change? I think I'm going to do that. And don't sue me, Warner Brothers or whatever. But or whoever music I steal to do this too. But so to take this and then like, or maybe we'll have Babe write a song for it. Okay, so we'll have do this. We will take. We will steal. We will borrow. We will fair use the. Part of this where they have the montage and take out the sad music and put in happy music and see how that tone changes.
So so basically they ripped up destiny and the rules for freedom and for choice, but was this the wrong choice?
And then I think you see this as part of like his humanity, right? Cass is really, for an angel, this is something that he's struggling with. It's like, how do you know you're making the right choices? And as my ADHD has been stressing out this week that I'm going to spiral about making choices. So I get you, Cass. I get this. You're spiraling here, but you're spiraling and we have to watch it.
Yeah. So we get, Dean's driving, and this would be terrifying if you're just driving on the highway by yourself.
I think at this point, Dean's kind of used to it, right? Like, at first he was scared, but now he's just like, all right, here, Cass, you're my boyfriend. Cass,
just show up. And they're talking about, both of them are claiming to be hunting for, quote unquote, Satan Jr. Crowley. But Cass is lying and saying that, oh yeah, he totally tricked me about those bones. So weird. And
this is, like, you are a bad cheater, Cass. Like, if you're going to be stepping out, you need to be better than this. Like, you're just not a good liar.
No. And Dean's like, yeah, we need to find him and rip his head off and shove it up his ass. Right now, Sam's out tracking a gin in Omaha, though, so I'm going to go meet him.
Okay.
Perfect
And
voices. You like that?
yeah. And Dean's just like, can, you call me, right? Like, if you're in real trouble, like, you'll call. Like, are you okay, boo? Like, I think, like, something feels off, and I'm just, I'm trying not to pressure you. I don't want to make you mad, but okay. And like, this is like, you kind of feel like him first, like, testing the waters, right?
And Cass just flaps away.
He just flaps away, and we got to Crowley just making a mess.
Yeah. So I was like, is this a lab, a morgue, a torture chamber, or all of the above? I don't know.
Poor Kate loves toes.
Right? So, and Cass walks in, and Crowley's over the body of what we realize is Eve, because she did. And he's got her chest cut open.
It's just so absurd. It's so gross and absurd.
It is.
Like, I think it would be awful. Like, it's funny though, because it's so stupid.
It's ridiculous.
It's
like
just
this weird
guys,
cage thing holding her chest open, and then some dude strapped to this like
I feel
cage
so bad.
gurney
I
thing
feel so bad
in
for
like
the vampire
bondage gear.
Yeah,
like what the fuck?
The gimp in the corner. Like, and there's two gimps in there, but also just like the eggs are just like the weirdest fucking eggs you've ever.
And he's like, she won't stop laying eggs, and it's like these it's like oversized fish eggs.
And it reminds me of like if your dad had to design a haunted house. Like, I remember my dad designing a house with it when I was 8. Like, grapes? This is your dad's haunted house. This is what's happening. So Ben Edlund, I imagine, has children, and he was doing this for his kids. He was making his kids' haunted house.
It's so weird because her body's still laying eggs, even though she dead. And the guy that's standing upright starts when Crowley decides to go watch this and puts the electrical wand to Eve's head, which has the top of her skull's cut off. Like, what the fuck?
She's got a convertible head now.
And he like touches this little like electric wand thing to it, and the vampire gimp feels it.
But this is also like, it's a vessel, right? So why is this happening to a vessel? I have some problems with this. Ooh. Like, it doesn't make sense, because really it's like she's just riding, and like, unless she
that's a meat suit that they found that the dragons got for her,
right? Unless like, she just absorbed it, and like, I don't know. It's weird. Like, I mean,
Cass kind of absorbed his meat suit.
I don't know, but I do like that Crowley thinks that this does hold erotic value.
Yeah, that they can share feel a sensation. Yeah, that's about it.
It is like, it's the original. What were those things? Like the sex toy, like your partner gets one thing, and like
like the remote control, like panties and stuff.
Yeah, I know there's a word for it. God damn it, I don't know. Anyways,
I don't know. Well, Crowley's pissed that Sam and Dean killed Eve, because he's still sure that she could have gotten them to purgatory, but now she did. And because of that, he's not just mad at the brothers, he's not just mad at Sam and Dean, he's also mad at Destiel for letting it happen, because Destiel protects the brothers.
And he gets a little worked up.
Yeah. Tells him it's a conflict of interest. He gets real mad, but we get another montage from Destiel.
But he also, when he gets real mad, he stabs Eve again, and that poor vampire, he's just like shaking. I feel so bad, like, and I feel like he's the unsung hero of this episode. Like, nobody mentions him at all. Like, he's just there alive and just suffering, and nobody says his name, what he's doing. He's just the poor guy that gets fucked up when Cowley stabs Eve.
That's true.
Oh.
Well, either way, we get Destiel admitting that he is compromised, because he does care about them so much, because the brothers, he's their guardian, because they taught him how to stand up and what to stand for and what happens when you do. And this is when we get our fun montage.
We get another montage. But I think that's a very poetic. It's a very poetic speech. It
is.
I feel like that's something like I would have like in a punk rock song. They taught me to stand up, and they taught me what happens when you do. You get kicked down. Like, there's just there's so much heart in it. Like, yeah, you got this heart. Like it makes me want to
fair.
like stand up and fight for shit. But
Does it?
a little bit.
Okay, I'm teasing. Yeah. Yeah. It's. I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely works in pulling your emotions, right?
It does, and this one's a good. This one, but then it kicks off with the "Hey ass butt," which is like adds some good comedy.
And
to
as
it,
like but that's a feels, right? That is like what if it's Cass's like first really like almost human moment. So he does that, and like so we like as a fan of the show, you have that connection, right? And so they're pulling on. So it's a good thing to put in the montage.
That's fair. He talks about when he got exploded, and we get like a pretty cool close up of like the blood droplets.
Yeah, I had to watch this on my iPad and my smaller iPad because I couldn't find the stand for my larger iPad. I know my struggles are very, very harsh. But so I had paused it, and it was like right in the middle of the blood splatter, and it was like it would be an amazing. I was like, I almost saved it as a screensaver because it was just this really cool like.
Yeah, it was a super cool effect.
I love that effect.
I will say, like, and I'll just say now, like, the one thing, like, one that was interesting about this episode, they did some really cool, like, freeze frames and slow mos and stuff like that. But
yep, I think the cat is crawling out the back of my chair.
That'll be exciting.
Yes,
so, but then it shows his whole body come back together, and, yeah, they stopped Armageddon, but at a terrible cost.
Well, and it's this amazing idea of like I died, God put me back together. Then I realized how important I was because God put me back together, right? Like that is starting off something. He's like, oh, and then my hubris, which is the major problem of every like this is how you start going like, are we going into Greek mythology here, right? Like is or a Shakespearean play where the hubris is a problem of like every fucking thing, and kind of right.
Yeah.
And then we get some montage of Soulless Sam and how I miss that sexy bastard.
But we get the big surprise here, and we find out.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Destiel is the one who pulled Sam out of hell.
What?
And he got him out without his soul because it was not intentional. It's because he was overconfident in his mission and in his ability to do it.
Oops.
And so he knew all along that Sam was there too.
Oops. Yeah, so you already done like you're fucking up your family here. Like you were not doing right by your family, your friends. Like the first thing you should have done when you raised up Sam should have been, oopsie, hey Dean, I did something and I did something bad. Or probably I would have gone to Bobby. That would have been my first choice. And I'm like, Bobby, I fucked up. And try to do something, help. Like that's when you like you admit like, but if you choose to not admit it and just to start playing your lies, they're gonna start piling up.
Yeah. So we cut to a scene with Crowley and Destiel, and Crowley's just basically begging Destiel to kill the Winchester brothers. And obviously Cass is like, nah. Duh. But and the crowd is like, well, I'll do it. And Cassiel's like, I'll just keep bringing him back. So anyway, so they're, Castiel's insisting that Crowley shouldn't worry that Sam and Dean want to kill him because he's going to help them, keep off this trail.
Kitty. Hello, kitty.
But Crowley's like, look at all these fucking, angels, gods, celestial demons, whatever, that have died because of the Winchester brothers. So I am not going to underestimate them.
And I think that's really it's hot because you're smart. But it's just like this really like, it's very smart. I'm just like, I'm not underestimating them. And that's when, and we start hearing them called the boys more and more. This is where this really starts. So, but I think this is one of the reasons that I like Crowley is because, he's not stupid about this shit.
Yeah. So, but Cass is like, you find purgatory or we're just going to, keep dying. We're both going to keep dying till the end of time. And in the meantime, I'll make sure they don't find you. So we cut to Bobby's. And at Bobby's house, Bobby has a demon chained up in his living room in a devil's trap.
One thing, I'm sorry, I wanted to say, because I had to talk about my hot Crowley and I got distracted because I had a cat ripping apart my thighs. So when Cass is telling Crowley to he needs to find Purgatory or they're fucked, and he's like, don't worry, the Winchesters won't hurt. It was like, the Winchesters won't hurt you, like, right? And we get kind of like this attitude that we start seeing from Cass is like, don't worry, like, I'll protect you from the bad Winchesters. But that makes like Crowley be like, what? Like, I'm not worried about the Winchesters. Come at me, motherfuckers. Like, just when he was like, I'm not going to underestimate them, he's like, no. Wait.
Like, no. Like, I'm not going to underestimate them. I ain't scared either.
I ain't scared. Kind of thing. I ain't scared of them.
Ain't scared. So, yeah. Bobby's got a demon with a red beard chained up in a devil's trap in his living room, like you do. And Sam's there with him, and they're talking about how this demon. So do you
think that devil's trap is permanently on Bobby's ceiling?
Yes.
This is for the decor.
Yes.
How would my landlords feel? No, landlords, I am not putting a devil's trap on my ceiling. Please don't rip up my lease.
But yeah, so he apparently this is something we kind of heard about starting in the last couple episodes, but basically this demon is out hunting monsters. It dug up a nest of vampires, and Red, our demon, is just out hunting on a mission for monsters now. So they're like, yeah, because you're working for Crowley, and he's like, nah, King's dead.
Well, and Bobby is demonstrating some insanely good interrogation skills, right? He's working a compliment. He's like, oh yeah, like, you're a good hunter now. Like, all these vamps need to be, you just cleaned up that nest of vamps, right? We're Crowley. Like, and just like throwing it at him. Like, I'm impressed with what he's doing, but then he kind of starts creeping me out.
Well, I think he throws holy water in his face and says that you're the proof that Crowley's alive. The fact that you're hunting is proof that Crowley's alive. Okay. So, and then they decide to start showing off their demon blade to him, real threatening and sexy like. They're going to stab him. That's real weird.
It's weird. This whole thing is weird. I also just don't like, I guess I've probably figured, I don't like torture.
Oh, that's what it is.
I think that's what it is I don't like torture, and I don't care about who it's against. Like, I kind of just don't like it.
Yeah, and then they get stabbed in the leg.
At least not this for this. I'm like, this is not worth torturing Red. Poor Red.
So he gets the demon blade to his thigh, and then also, Dean gets there.
So demon blade to thigh, like, that doesn't kill you?
I thought it would kill him.
Does it have to like stab like a specific organ? Like, is this?
They've never specified that, to my knowledge. I don't remember that specified at all.
I'm pretty sure if you had a demon knife, like, buried, like, that's in like a femoral
if you're a demon
artery,
and you stab with a demon knife, I think you're dead.
I don't understand what's happening.
I don't either. But Dean and Sam are going to go talk in the kitchen, talking about what Castiel said when he showed up. And Dean's like, oh yeah, Castiel totally thinks we're on a monster hunt. He doesn't have any clue that we're going to get close to Crowley. And I'm like, oh shit, they know something's up for sure now. Because like all we had a hint of whether they might know something was up in the last episode when it ended was that it doesn't seem like a mistake Cass would make to mix up the bones.
Yeah.
That's the only hint we really had. So now we know that Sam, Dean, and Bobby are totally suspicious of Castiel.
Well, and we know that because Dean also calls him what does he call him? God damn it. No, I didn't put it in my notes because I thought you would have it in your notes. And now I had to go look at them. Okay, it's the guy from Perfect Strangers. What's the name of the guy from Perfect Strangers? It's damn it, what's his name? Balky. He is the Balky what? Like the this is bad podcasting. Oh no. Whatever the guy's name is. So but it's he makes a very like cute pop culture reference to like talk. But basically he's calling him stupid. He's saying that Cass is stupid and so he's allowed to make a mistake. Or like he's
naive kind of thing,
dumb.
yeah.
You know, and I don't like that. Because Cass isn't dumb. He just maybe doesn't speak your pop culture language sometimes.
Well, but Dean's also he's also upset about lying to a friend. He's like, look, maybe Crowley tricked Castiel. But Bobby's like, they could be in it together. Maybe Superman went dark side. And then we get a lot of references to Kryptonite and Lois Lane.
Yeah, it's a very, very long nerd reference. But it's also an important one because it's something that gets referenced back at the end of this. So it's Superman gone dark side. So maybe he had to stock up some kryptonite. And then Dean does turn to Sam and say, that makes you Lois Lane.
Yeah.
And Lois Lane was awesome. But kind of dumb. So I don't know.
And now we see behind all this conversation going on, Cass is just spying on him. So he has nothing better to do. He's like running this fucking like war in heaven and trying to keep, Crowley from sending goons to kill all of them. But he's just got time to eavesdrop.
Yeah. 1, eavesdropping on your friends. Rude. 2, I immediately want this power. Please let me eavesdrop on my friends. I would like to jump in and drop on everybody's conversations right now. But we can't do that. I can't do that. And so Cass is monologuing about this shit, right? About Dean is trying to stay loyal to his instincts while he thinks he's being played a fool. And really, the only thing that I can think about here is Destiel. And what is happening is Dean is conflicted because he thinks his boyfriend is cheating on him with Crowley. And exactly what's happening. So I think the only solution for this is for us to find a quiz. And I'm just going to pull up a random quiz on the internet. This is from Pro Prof's quiz. And this is a quiz to tell us, is my boyfriend cheating on me? All right, you ready? All right, so we're going to start this. I have not taken this quiz. I don't know what the results are going to be. I think I may also have malware. All right, so has your boyfriend ever cheated you on the past? No. I am not sure. It felt like he did, but it's not confirmed. Maybe. Or yeah. Has Castiel ever stepped out on Dean in the past?
Not sure.
I'm not sure. Does it feel like he did? It's not confirmed. We're going to go with that.
No. Doesn't feel like he did.
All right. Is he always putting you down and never building you up? I would say no. I feel like that's the opposite of Castiel, right? Yeah. Oh, okay.
He puts them down some, like they would never understand. You're just human.
That is true. Oh, damn it. Can I change my answer to sometimes? Okay, sometimes. All right. Can you reach him by phone when he is out of town? I would say, is that maybe, no, sometimes, or yes?
Sometimes.
Can you use his cell phone at any time? Yes, no, maybe. I can only use it sometimes.
I go with yes.
Yeah, I think Cass would give me his phone and give Dean his phone, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you invited to family dinner on Thanksgiving? So I guess would be like, can Dean go to Thanksgiving in heaven? Maybe.
Maybe.
No, and no. Or yes, I am invited.
I mean,
would Cass take Dean to a Thanksgiving dinner in heaven with other angels? I feel like those angels would put him down. I would say maybe. I think it's a maybe.
I'd say maybe.
Yeah,
I think it's a maybe.
Have you found your boyfriend's profile on an online dating app? Is Cass on Angel Tinder?
No, he is not.
Okay, we're going to say nope on that. All right. Is he always accusing you of cheating? Has Cass been turning this around and accusing Dean of stepping out with other angels? No, he is not.
Never.
Does he always keep his cell phone calls and text messages deleted? I'm pretty sure that sometimes he deletes this. There is a thing on here. Sometimes he deletes his phone call and messages, and he does that just because he's stupid and doesn't know how to work a phone. Does he have a problem with you coming to his house without calling first? No, sometimes, or yes, and yes. So Dean showed up in heaven. Would Castiel be upset if he didn't call first?
He did.
He did. Was he upset? No, he wasn't, right?
No.
Does his female coworkers call him after work and they often don't discuss work?
when they call him after work, but they do discuss work.
So sometimes no, yes, and I'm not sure about it. What do you want to say?
I'd say no, because they discuss work if they talk.
Has he started abruptly taking showers as soon as he gets home?
No.
There is one that says, I can't say for sure as I don't live with him. And so we're going to say that one.
Oh my God.
Has he been trying to avoid being romantic and caring towards you? No, he's romantic as he used to be. I can't say for sure, but we don't spend enough time. Maybe, or yes, he's changed a lot.
You know, I can't say for sure, but we don't spend enough time. You know, that's the one.
That's what he's doing. Have you found certain items at his house that were not his? No, I can't be sure. Maybe, or yes. Have we found things of Crowley's at his house?
I can't be sure. Or no.
I can't be sure. Has the schedule changed abruptly and he starts giving excuses of his whereabouts that can't be confirmed, like always using his brother or close friend as the excuse, or a civil war maybe?
No.
We have yes, yes, and yes. Sometimes no, or I am sure, but his schedule has changed a lot.
I think no. I think his schedule. I mean, I don't think his schedule.
But I think he's giving excuses about where he's been.
That's true.
Okay, I'm gonna say I am sure, but his schedule's changed a lot. Like, so okay, but his last one. Does he pick fights for no reason at all? No, never. I feel like he does it sometimes, maybe, or yes, all of the time.
I don't think he picks fights.
I feel like he does sometimes. I'll say okay. No, never, or sometimes.
You can say sometimes.
Okay. You got it, maybe, but then it can be that your head is playing with you. Considering the options that you've picked, there are slight chances. Okay, considering the options that you've picked, there are slight chances that your partner might be cheating on you. Although there is no concrete sign, you should stay more aware. Most probably, it is just in your head. Oh, so that's still not an answer. So fuck that quiz. Dean is still confused.
Yes.
Poor Dean.
Sorry, Dean. We didn't solve it for
Dean.
you.
We don't know if your boyfriend is cheating on you yet, but I think we are going to find out relatively soon. So we go back to more disturbing Bobby torturing things.
Yeah, he's twisting the demon blade or the demon blade in the demon's leg, and we've got the demon's like, look, I don't even know where Crowley is. I only know where the dispatcher is. So he does know where somebody is, he knows that Crowley's alive. He admits that, and he mentions Ellsworth. I freaking love Ellsworth, and we'll come back to that.
No, we're about to, because it's brilliant.
Well, it's not. It's right here. Never mind.
It's right now.
They say that he is the demon counterpart to Bobby Singer.
He's the demon
and
Singer.
He fucking is.
He's so good.
It is amazing. Ellsworth. I want an Ellsworth and Bobby show where they're like the frenemies. That's what I want.
They have to run an agency together.
Yeah, but they hate each other.
So Bobby has to work for Heaven, Bobby has to work for Heaven. So take this show, come on, Jensen Ackles, you license this shit. It probably work better than Winchester. So sorry, what? Anyway,
yeah. So he's got his I just love this scene. He's got his multiple Blood Bowl phones going, plus the row of regular phones.
Yes!
It is so fucking good. The Blood Bowl phones is fucking brilliant.
It's brilliant. Fucking brilliant.
I died. I was dying when that happened.
Yeah,
so
and this is also, I'm sure there's an amazing antidote that's in my book somewhere. But yeah, so there's bubbling, and he's going back and forth. He even pretends to be the FBI.
When they're on the regular phone, he stops talking to the Blood Bowl to pick up one of the regular phones and changes his voice so he can be the FBI and verify that those agents are his.
Honestly, he makes Bobby look bad.
Oh, it's epic. So good. We've seen Bobby do that good though before. It's just pretty funny. But yeah, it's just really super clever character and choice there. Really like it. And so two demons drag a body in, and he yells at them to take it outside and around back. And then Castiel shows up because he's like, well, I know that this is how the Winchester brothers and Bobby are going to find Crowley. So, and I'm afraid that there will be a battle here, and I can't let them find Crowley because Crowley, blah, 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 because he's trying to protect everybody now. So he kills all these demons.
He smites them all. He's just on a smiting spree. He's got a smiting problem in this episode. He's just smite. Smite.
So, yeah. And then he just tells himself that he didn't have a choice. He's doing it to protect, like, Sam, Dean, myself, everything.
But he's also like, he's getting so emo. He's just like, I don't even know anymore. He's just like, myself. And like, I keep feeling like this narrative, and I don't know why. I keep feeling like this Jack Kerouac on the road type of like thing that's coming out, and I hate it. I just hate it.
You take this so like sad. It's what I have to do.
Well, it's also just, you can tell, and I know it's on purpose, that it's a person making excuses for themselves, right? Like, you're doing something that's questionable to your morality, and but you have an...
You're rationalizing.
You're rationalizing. And that's the word. Rationalizing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he's just keeps saying that he has no choice. That's one of the things I think is a theme too.
Yeah, that you have like, but he says he has no choice, but that's also weird because Cass's big thing is free will, right?
Exactly.
So there's just, we have a lot of issues with your morality here, Cass.
All right, so we've got Sam and Bobby. Oh, I said it backwards. Dean and Bobby bust in with at Ellsworth with shotguns drawn. Sam's coming in from the rear. They are fucking ready to go. They found the motherfucker. Oh, but it's empty. And it's been cleaned really, really, really well.
And also this like ruins the chances of Dean and Sam and Bobby meeting Ellsworth.
I know, which is the sad part. I don't
want them to kill him. Like, I guess like eventually they would have to, probably. But like that, like, oh my god, Bobby and Ellsworth.
I just want that interaction.
Damn it, Cass.
I need that crossover.
I think that's also another theme of this episode. It's just, damn it, Cass.
Right. And speaking of damn it, Cass, he is eavesdropping again. He's there and he is listening in, watching all this. And he's like, oh, well, I just, he really just had to do it. So he pops back to heaven, where he explains again, which we've learned before, that in heaven, each soul generates its own paradise. And one of his favorites to visit is the eternal Tuesday afternoon of an autistic man who drowned in his bathtub in 1953.
Why did we name that part of the fact? Because it's a lovely day. Like, it's just a lovely afternoon. Like, you didn't need
It's just a pretty afternoon in the
You
garden.
could have left which is how we know that Cass is becoming more emo, because he's putting in like these really dark facts. Like,
right. And there's a guy flying a kite in a really pretty garden. That's what we got.
Yeah. But it's a lovely day. I would love to hang out at this guy's house.
It's really pretty.
Yep.
Yeah. And a bunch of his angels show up and they're like, hey, so now this is a flashback while he's in heaven. He's talking about, this goes back to right after they thwarted Armageddon. And they're like, yeah, I'm trying to spice up the language. Here we go. And they're like, oh, hey, we saw Lucifer destroy you. And so it must have been God that put you back together. And he's like, no, it was the Winchester brothers. They're like, no, you're our leader now. God saved you. Ta-da.
And this really reminds me of The Life of Brian, where they had the people who are, you could really like follow the shoe and follow the gourd, right? It was like this is the thing that's supposed to represent like, or is it like, no, we must follow the shoe, no, follow the gourd. And so no matter what Cass says, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, like we're gonna follow whatever you say.
Yes.
Because basically the implication is that these angels are sheep and
they're followers.
And they are followers. And you know what? Some people and some angels, sometimes they're just followers.
Well, and they imply through this episode a lot too that angels just are inherently our followers. I mean, if you think about conceptually, if they were created to serve, not to have free will.
Right,
but that's complicated.
It gets very, and we get in, this is a very morally complicated thing, right? Because you could say that I even say like some people are just followers, and that is a personality thing. But at the same time, like I believe in we coming together as community and all these things. So I don't know. It's very complicated. Angels are this.
It's messy.
They're going into a very messy thing here too. Like we can
Yeah.
almost like change this like AI and stuff, right? We're creating like you created this thing that is meant to serve you. Now I made Diana scared. Then we'll move on.
Yeah, I don't.
She's like, oh no, we're there again.
I sent an email that's going to put me on the watch list for our tech or AI overlords, because I definitely said I don't trust them in email this week.
I love my AI overlords. Call me anytime, baby. All right. So they're just like, they don't know, like, what do we do with freedom?
And he's trying
right?
he's trying to explain freedom, and he's like, what? And he's like, now freedom's just a length of rope to hang yourself.
Yeah. So, I was like, why do I suddenly feel like dancing to the Smiths with Cass?
Oh my gosh. It's like explaining freedom to angels is like teaching poetry to fish.
I'm pretty sure like there is this.
Yeah.
Come to the dark side, Cass. All right. So then we cut to
the super fancy office. And I feel like you probably really enjoyed this scene too.
Oh,
so it's a super fancy like wood panel office. And you're like, oh, who's there? There's like 2 guards and all that. Oh, it's Raphael's. It's super Merca. Like,
fuck yeah.
We have a portrait of, we have a lovely picture of a plane. And then we have a portrait of George W. Bush.
I hope that was one.
American flags.
George, wait, which one was the painter?
George W.
Yeah, so I hope George W. I hope that was a self-portrait.
It was not. I've seen a self-portrait, but yeah. Online, but I
wish it was like shit. Have you actually seen it? Because I wouldn't be surprised if you had.
I have been to the presidential library once.
Did they already build that?
Yeah.
Dude, something to swap. Like, oh my god,
it's at SMU. It's on the SMU campus,
and so something to swap past my window, but I can't see because the light is reflecting in. Okay.
Well, it's on the SMU campus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not going to SMU. All right, cool.
It's a very pretty building. I didn't get to walk around much. I went to a speaking event there.
Cool. Yeah, no, I mean,
people, but years ago. But still, I need to go back.
Yeah.
But anyways, and so we find out that
the whole point of this is
the whole point of it is that he's in Ken Lay's heaven, and he's borrowing it because he's devout.
Well, so the devout thing is, Cass is like, I question his admittance, and Raphael was like, he was devout. He trumps everything. I'm like, that's gross. That's so gross. but also hilarious.
It was a very funny exchange. So basically Raphael's like, hey, Cass, you're going to have to kneel to me and pledge allegiance for rebelling. And we're going to free.
Like, if somebody tells you kneel before me, kneel before Todd, whatever, like, I'm always just going to say no. Like, there's never any way where like that turns into a good thing, right? Like,
no, and I'm with you. I'm just unfortunately going to say that there is a section of the population that thinks they'll say no, but when
yes, I
happen,
know that. But like, so somebody like in Cass's place, I feel like this shoves you in a corner, right? Because even if you're like, I would probably be willing to have like rational negotiations with you, but then you tell me to kneel before you, and then I'm like, I'm going to kick you in the balls, motherfucker, because I'm not kneeling before
like
you.
You just killed the negotiation here. I might have agreed with you.
Raphael
However,
does not have good communication skills.
He does not. He's very arrogant.
Yeah, that does not make for a good leader. I do not think.
So he wants to free Lucifer and Michael, and wants to get the show back on the road. He wants to do the apocalypse. He's ready.
But why?
He thinks that's necessary because it's God's will. But really, that means he's like, well, how do you know that? It's really just what Raphael wants. Raphael wants it, and angels are not built for freedom; they're built to follow. So they get in a fist fight for angels.
And Raphael smites the shit out of him.
Yeah, he beats the fuck out of Castiel, and Cass is bleeding on the garden.
Yeah, the poor autistic lawn is, I don't want to call it that, sorry. Like, it's just, I don't know, the green lawn. The green lawn is now just covered in his blood. But I also really like how saturated that heaven was. Like, the colors of it were just really nice.
Pleasing. Oh, it was well done.
I'd hang out there.
Like I said, there's a lot of things shot about this episode that I really enjoyed. I'll talk about how I felt about the episode at the end, but like there's a lot of things about how it was done that I think were really cool. So anyways, we've got Sam, Dean, and Bobby are still at Ellsworth, and they've realized that this house is way too fucking clean. They're like, God, like, so they're like, all right, this is normally what we'd call Castiel though. And Dean's still trying to like kind of defend Cass. He's like, look, he's always had our back. We need to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Well, and so he is like, you're at that point where your friends are like, look, he's a dirty, cheating bastard. And you're like, yeah, but you remember the time like he like bought me dinner, and then there was a time he cleaned my car, and he like, remember when my mom was sick, like he dropped me off there, like, you know, and you start listening at like all the good things that they did, so you can again the rationalization of like, well, we should trust him.
Yeah. So they decided to call him, and guess what? He didn't show. So they're about to leave. But what happens? Oh, they get attacked by demons. And one says, Crowley says
part
hi.
of the quiz, or like where, you know, can you get a hold of him? Like, this is a thing. Yep. Is he answering his cell phone? No, sometimes he's just not answering.
Sometimes he's not answering. But so one of them says Crowley says hi. So this is their actual confirmation now. Like, they knew Crowley was alive, but this is like the real confirmation, and that Crowley's now after them. And Dean's getting punched in the face a lot. Just saying. That looks terrible. So Castiel was watching all of this happen. So he watched them call and didn't fucking answer. That's like looking at your phone and watching someone calling you and refusing to answer it. And then he's pretty surprised. We get a lot of freeze frames in this. What? We get a lot of freeze frames in this too. And finally, Castiel decides that he's got to go smite these demons to save his friends.
Reveal yourself! He just like suddenly appears and smites away. Smites. Again, so much smiting.
Smites him away, even though it'll make Crowley mad. And Dean's pretty stoked to see him. And he's like, oh, yeah, you know, I guess here's my big news. My big report is I believe that Crowley's alive. And they're like, what? Duh.
Okay.
We all knew this. Okay. And Dean points out to Bobby, though, he's like, look, Castiel just saved us. See? Told you everything's fine.
He's fine. He's not cheating on me. There's nobody else. Like, he loves me. He's here.
Yeah. And then they're like, yeah, so let's tell him all about how we're hunting Crowley. It's fine. No big deal. It's so silly that we thought you were in cahoots with him.
And they'd like apologize, right?
I said cahoots.
Cahoots, you did. Yeah. We got thwarts. Yeah, we got thwarts. We got cahoots. We're just acting weird today. But you know, but like, and I like, but I also just feel for Bobby and Sam, because I feel like they were just like, oh no, okay, we were wrong. And then like, that's the worst feeling as a friend.
They apologize.
Like, where you're like, oh no, like you thought like somebody was like, man was like cheating on them all the time. And you're just like, girl, like he's like fucking cheating on you. And then like you find out that he wasn't. And you're like, oh shit, my bad. Like, I'm sorry, he was going to night school or whatever he was doing. But like, now we're just like, so this is double fucked up, right? Like, it's even worse.
Right. And then though, Castiel makes a crack about Superman
not too much
turning to the dark side.
See, that's your dumbass, man. Dumbass. If you're cheating on somebody, you shut your fucking mouth. That's all you do. You don't say
number
shit.
one, and everybody knows he can't make he is incapable of making pop culture references, number one. Number two, this obviously means that he was listening in on them before. So Dean, you can tell Dean catches this immediately.
And they all do. But Dean, at this point, like, he could have just exploded. He plays it off.
He plays it off, makes his kryptonite crack, and moves along. So next scene, we have Crowley and Castiel meet up, and they pissed. They both mad at each other. Cass is mad because Crowley set demons to kill his friends. Crowley is mad that Castiel shouldn't have friends, and it's all about the big lie about about good and good and righteous Cass.
Yeah, blah 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 blah. Then Cass shoves Crowley up against the wall, and he is like, "I'm still an angel, and I will bury you," and that's fucking hot.
It was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I do like this is not how synergy works.
See, this is one of the things I think I also really dislike about Cass in this episode is how much he looks down on Crowley. And it's kind.
Crowley's the king of hell. You should probably respect him a little
Well,
bit.
he just looks down at him because he's a demon, right? And he has this it's a very superior, like his superiority complex is like, and I get it.
Intense.
You're an angel and he's a demon, but like you tell him all the time that he's a piece of shit, and you're looking like basically like he's.
But you're working with him,
and you're working with him, and Crowley's just who he is, right? And so like to me, it's like it makes you the shittier angel for like looking for treating somebody that way. You're treating someone who's helping you, even though he's trying to like he has his own angle.
Yeah,
you're still a piece of shit.
Yeah, it's not very nice. So we do get another narration scene from Castiel, and he's just wondering why he's doing all this. Raphael's stronger, blah blah blah. So he shows that he actually, and how it all started though is that he went to go try to get Dean to help him figure out to fight. And he got there and he sees Dean raking leaves when he was with Lisa. And he pauses for a second, just kind of watches. Then Crowley shows up and wants to make a deal. He said, look, it's about souls and getting Raphael's head on a pike. This will be a happy ending for all of us. Let's at least talk. So,
and I do love I love a head on a pike. Also, he refers to Castiel as an angel of Thursday, and there's some very poetic lines in here. And an angel of Thursday in occult lore is actually what Castiel was referenced as, and that comes from Gustav Davidson's book, The Dictionary of Angels, which I just like that his name is Gustav. And he was a poet, like he was this guy who escaped from Poland like during like basically under Nazi oppression, came to the United States and became a poet in the library, and was like a librarian for, I forget which library he was, like, I think maybe a Library of Congress, and like wrote an angel dictionary like based on things from the Talmud, the Kabbalah, and medieval occult lore and stuff, like all these dictionaries of angels. I've got it somewhere in here, but also Gustav.
All right.
Right.
Yeah. And so basically Crowley convinces Castiel to listen to his elevator pitch. And
come on, just 5 minutes. It'll be worth your while. And also, he's just so dirty, right? Like he just like throws these like, and he's just like, look, man. Like when he was talking about the head in a pike, he was like, I'm talking about happy endings for all of us, all possible entendres intended. Come on, just chat, Cass. Come on.
We go to a hallway. This is a very long, very plain, very boring hallway with a stanchion down the middle and a big row of people. And like, do you even see those take a number things anymore? Are those a thing anymore?
Yeah, they have an HEB in the deli section.
Okay. You do the take a number from the little red ticker.
Get your deli meat. Oh.
All right. Well, you take the little ticker when you get in line, and you stand in the line, and the time, and like basically the whole thing is like you see this crazy clock readout with a bunch of numbers. And everybody looks very disappointed. And Crowley appears and explains that this is one of his improvements to Hades because there was too many masochists in hell that were asking for another when they were getting punished. What? So this is his new this is his new way to punish in hell. No one likes waiting in line. And if you make it to the front, you go straight back to the end. Efficiency.
Yeah, I love this. This is very Tim Burton-esque. It's very reminiscent of the waiting room in Beetlejuice. Also, it is rumored that Ben Edlund was one of the souls that were in line and has not been confirmed.
Yeah, I think I think bureaucracy like that is
bureaucracy is hell. And like I love that is also, I think Crowley is so smart, right? He was just like, what? Hell is inefficient. I put in this line. It's worse and it's funny.
Yeah. I like it. I was deeply amused. So anyways, and so Castiel's explaining, look, I have to either submit to Raphael or die. And Crowley's like, are you French?
I always love a jab at the French.
I know, you can't resist it. I'm sorry. And suggests that resisting might be an option. There are angels that'll follow you. So start a civil war. You're not the same as
He's just
Lucifer.
working the sale, though. It's just like, he's like, oh, no. It's like, start a civil war because you're a sexy little bitch. Like, oh, people like you, Destiel. Like, God raised you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. God brought you back, right? And he's not the same. If you start a civil war, you're not Lucifer. He was, a petulant child with daddy issues. That's not what you're doing,
right?
So,
I mean, why would God have brought you back, Cass? Like, and then he's just playing on this this ego. It's a very interesting
pride,
and just like these human like it's very hard when you talk about these mythical creatures that aren't supposed to have human emotions that are having human emotions.
Yeah. And he's like, because I got a plan, sir. I've got a plot of land. I'm just kidding.
I've got a bridge.
So we're going to do purgatory. And in purgatory, all of the souls of every fanged and clawed creature we can have, if we can find it, but we need help finding it.
Monorail,
and then we can split the souls half and half. And then we can split the souls 50-50. I keep my power in hell. You gain power in heaven. Ta-da!
Ta-da! And while he's doing this, did you see the picture in the hallway? And I kept trying, it's like, I couldn't tell if it was a Nazi or Mark Shepard in a Nazi uniform that was just like on the wall and like in the background. And I went through like all like the Supernatural wikis and like I didn't have enough time to do like deep research on it. So if anybody knows what the fuck that picture was in the back of the wall, because okay. it was interesting, but
and then he makes him an additional offer though, and he's like, so while you're thinking about this, I can just float you 50,000 souls. It's just so weird.
It is so weird. And also before that, he is like, Cass is very adamant that he can't use the Winchesters for this, right? And he's like, you can't. And Crowley says, I have a big bald patriarch I can take off the bench. Which means that not only did we learn this episode that Cass is the one that raised Sam from perdition, now we know how Samuel got out.
Yup. We do. That also means that Samuel was in hell.
That also means that Samuel was in fucking hell. Boom.
Weird.
Well, so, I don't know. He's kind of a dick.
I don't know.
I didn't like him. I'm sure he did some shit.
I mean, not when he came back, especially, but he seemed fine, I guess, when he was.
We don't know. I mean, like, we
didn't get
like we saw how his attitude was towards killing monsters. He probably had that. Like, did he have that attitude his whole life? And that, I don't know. Also, I think we've determined, like, in this world, what the fuck is happening? Like, how you're judged where you go one way or the other.
Yeah. So we go back. Castiel goes and tells Raphael, hey, we're not going to have a fucking apocalypse. Hey, angels, you're either with him or with me. Deuces.
Oh, and this is where I was like, Cass said his pride filled him with Red Bull and gave him wings, and then he shows his glory power. I told Diana I had a Red Bull's reference of things earlier. But yeah, so he's up there in heaven. He's just like, look at me. I have all this power. Yeah. And this is like, I think where his ego has just been like, Crowley did a really good job of just like inflating him.
Yeah. So we've got Sam, Dean, and Bobby are just still kicking it at Ellsworth's for some reason. And they try to call Castiel again while they're sitting around drinking some whiskey. And he shows up. He's like, hey, how can I help? They're like, oh, yeah, we have a plan to track down Crowley. So, come talk to us. And he walks into the room. And then Bobby throws a match on the ground. And then they set the ring on fire. And Castiel's trapped.
That burning ring of fire.
He's trapped in the ring of fire with that. What is it? The artisanal
holy oil from Jerusalem.
Yeah.
But also with the broad part of this too is like Dean just looks so hurt. Like
Dean looks like bummed.
He's bummed, and like I can also like see this like as someone who has a limited amount of friends, like you do when you're middle aged. Like Dean doesn't have a lot of people in his life. Or no. I guess Cass isn't a people, but like he's got basically like he doesn't have Lisa and Ben anymore. He's got Sam now. He's back. He's got Bobby and he's got Cass, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, oh shit! Like now I can't even trust Cass, motherfucker.
Yeah, and Dean just like begs him to tell the truth. That please tell me you're not working with Crowley, and Castiel just can barely look at him, but wants to explain.
And he sort of lies his way out. He's not trying to explain.
Well, he says he wants to explain, but he's just gonna lie. And they're like, "Are you all been working together the whole time? They're going after purgatory." And Destiel just keeps insisting that it was to protect everybody. Yeah.
And Dean looks at him. He's like, "Look me in the eye and tell me you're not working with Crowley. Son of a bitch, you cheating bastard." And so he knows.
Is that what it is?
Well, he says son of a bitch. I filled in, you cheating bastard. Oh no! And this is Cass. Like Cass tries to come back, and he is like, because he wants to entrust him. It's like, I'm your friend. Mm-hmm. And then he like is trying so hard to tell him that he's his friend. That he says, "But Sam, I raised you from perdition."
Yeah, but I will say he does reference right before he gets to that. I want to get to that. Is that he says that it's the souls, and that with the souls he can beat Raphael. And that's kind of the first time this group have heard that information, I think, and they kind of move on to it.
Well, but they've been I think it's the first time I've heard about Cass, right? Like this is like the souls. Like they've been hearing that like all season.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like a lot of Destiel being involved in trying to collect souls,
and maybe
really
gives them give them an understanding what the fuck "it's the souls" actually means, because I still don't understand anyways. Like I've seen him use the souls, and I don't get it. I don't get where you get these souls from. Like, what happens? Like, how are you compressing them? Because, like, in hell, they just looked like people walking in lines, right? They were like, what? I don't know.
So, Castiel, but Sam, like you said, is like upset. He's like, you did a piss poor job, raising me from perdition. Did you bring me back soulless on purpose?
Ouch!
Ooh, wonders if that was intentional. And Cass is pretty offended by that, but it's a fair question at this point.
It's a fair point.
And he's like real upset about it though. And he's like, look, Raphael's going to kill us all and turn the world into a graveyard. I didn't have a choice. See, that's the... And Dean says that you did have a choice. And you made the wrong one. And Castiel's still trying to like backpedal. He's like, well, it's complicated, and trying to explain still. And it's just like, and Dean's not having it. He's like, you kept it a secret because you knew it was wrong.
And he's right.
That's another good call out.
Like, if you don't hide shit like this, like, you're like, I'm doing it for you. Unless you know there's a reason, like, Yeah, also, like, Cass, like, if you're gonna do the Shaggy defense, like, you need to stick with it. Like, it only works if you never vary. That is the only way. I don't know what you're talking about. It wasn't me. Works. You've got it always has to be, it wasn't me. You can't try and, like, backplay.
But yeah, he's like, but Dean, you're right. Dean gives him this great thing about, we deal with stuff, and follows up with, you don't make a deal with the devil. And Cass like, oh, it sounds real simple when you put it like that. Where were you? And he's like, where the fuck were you?
Well, no, it's like, this is also really harsh, because he's just like, where are you when I need to hear that? And Dean's just like, I was there. Like, I was there. And then, like, they literally show him, like, being there, like, cutting, like, raking his leaves. And what's even worse is, like, your friend was doing yard work. You just let him do yard work by himself. You fucking dick.
Raking leaves sucks. Go help him out, man.
Go help him out. Or at least jump in the leaves. Like,
at least to make it fun.
One way or the other, like, yeah. But no, you wandered off with a cute boy. Cute boy came by and batted his souls at you, and you're like, ooh, what's that over there? Like, he is that meme.
the girl looking, the guy looking from one girl to the other. That's amazing. Yeah. So then we get a bunch of windy noises, and they're about to get attacked by cock smoke. I can't say it.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of cock smoke curling at the house.
Cock smoke everywhere. Yeah, it's pretty intense. And so they run because Cass tells them to.
He's standing alone and it's firing.
Yeah, just standing there by himself. And of course, it's Crowley with all of his demons, and he puts the fire out. And Cass is like, please don't go after Sam and Dean. Please just don't. And he's like, no, they're holding you back. We're going to have to. This just proves everything. We're going to have, our new God and our new devil working together.
Where is the sitcom? Where is Crowley as the devil and Cass as the God? I want to see this sitcom happen.
But Cass is pissed.
Take that one, Ackles. Come on. We're giving you show after show to keep this universe alive.
We got all these pitches. I know. Cass is pissed though. He's like, get out. You need to get on my site. And he's like, oh, you're welcome. And I like Crowley's little speech here though. I think it was really telling. it's like the difference between you and me. I know what I am and what I'm willing to do. And so the implication is obviously Cass doesn't.
Because what are you fighting for? What are you willing to do? Like, do you believe in your cause, and how far will you go? Right. But this is still like Crowley, like, there is always an underlying level of insecurity, and it comes from how Cass treats him, right? And so, like,
he's got to prove himself all the time.
Always has to prove himself, but at the same time, he's not wrong here. Like, Cass hasn't. You can't live in this. Well, I guess you can, but if you live in this gray area of morality, like, I think that's the point. Is like you're not going to end up pleasing anybody.
Yeah,
everyone's gonna be mad.
That's reasonable. Yeah. So we do cut back to Bobby's. Dean is sleeping on the couch, and there's sigils all over the windows. But Destiel appears because apparently Bobby got a few things wrong in his angel protection sigils.
But Dean and Bobby wouldn't have done that.
Dean's kind of just annoyed that they even need to have angel proofing on the house, which is fair. But Castiel's still trying to insist to Dean that he's been doing all of this, because for Dean and because freedom and free will. That's why he's been doing any of this at all.
Yeah.
But
also,
Dean calls
when
him
you're in
out.
a fight with your significant other, nobody wants to hear, "I'm doing this for you."
Yeah, that's usually not a great.
Nope, it's not good. Back up, back the fuck up, Cass. Back up.
Yeah, not great. But Dean does just like put him. It's like calls him out. He's like, "Look, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something, or you can't do whatever you want." Basically, I just and just asks him like, just you need to not do what you're doing. This is bad.
Yeah,
but he also it's sweet.
It's sweet. He calls him a child, and that's really, to me, like, I mean, I would be super offended, right? Because I think that's
yes,
we all have our issues, and that's obviously one of mine. So, but I think it's also one of Dean's, right? So Dean is like, you can see how like emotionally distraught he is at this.
Yeah. And he's like, "Look, you're the closest thing to family," like you were just saying to him before about Dean tells him that he's the closest thing he has to family next to Sam and Bobby. So,
and sometimes like your friend, like what he's doing here, like seems so important. He's just like, I don't have, like, if you're family, I don't have to give you a reason. I just can ask you not to do something, and you should not do it, right? And anybody, like, I know like that feeling, right? If like I told you, Diana, like, look, I don't have to give you a reason. You just can't, like, you cannot buy this lipstick. And then if you bought the lipstick, I'd be really mad because I was like, I don't have to give you a reason. I just told you not to buy it. Like, and it was probably because I already bought it for you and like I was going to give it to you as a present. But like, you just have to understand that sometimes there's a good reason that I'm telling you not to do something. And we're family, and you just have to understand that.
Yes. But I like that Cass's response is, "Or what?"
Burp. Nope.
Oh, so Dean has to say that he'll do what I have to do to stop you. Yikes.
Yep. So Dean's now in his corner.
And they both apologize. And Cass goes back to his garden.
And well, they have like this, the ending of like the, Cass also looks down on him, right? And I think this is a hubris thing too, because he's like, how can you stop me? You're just a man. I'm an angel, right? And so, and that's the same thing going with Crowley is, you're just a demon, I'm an angel. But he also has that inferiority complex with Raphael. Like, Raphael's a better angel,
stronger angel than me, or whatever. Yeah. Well, and then and just to be clear, Castiel goes back to not the green garden in heaven. He goes back to the like a wooded garden area, wooden garden bench, and that we started at from the beginning of the episode. And now it's snowy there too. And he's continuing his monologue, but now it's turned into him pleading
to God, right? Like
pleading to God to ask if he's on the right path and begging for a sign. And we get his close up with his eye twitch. So now, is he talking directly to God? Is he praying to God? Like, we don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it's a prayer. Like, just, or, I mean, I don't think he's like, I don't feel like he's looking at God. Like, I feel like it's a prayer, right? But I also feel like in most prayers where you ask God to give you a sign and God doesn't give you a sign, God doesn't give you, I don't, I mean, like, you're setting like, to me, it's like you're setting yourself up for disappointment here, Cass, or you're setting yourself up as another rationalization for what you're about to do being bad.
Well, either that, or maybe we will get a sign, and that was just a cliffhanger, Liz.
Maybe this is a cliffhanger, and maybe a billboard will drop in front of Cass, and it will tell him what to do. Like, just like there will be something that drops in front of me and tells me all the correct decisions to make in my life. Maybe that'll be my new AI overlord. I love you. Tell me what to do, my AI overlord. All right. So, do you have some casting couches?
Casting couch. It's the casting couch. Were they on that show that time with that guy? La 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 la.
I do. Just a couple though this week. So we've got first off Red. Our hunter demon dude.
I like Red, right? Like,
I do too.
I think he reminds me of, I don't know, maybe I think he's probably just a ginger love, maybe.
Well, Red was played by Sandy Robson.
His name is Sandy.
I know. Yeah. He had
I meant
smaller
because
roles
of the hair color, not as a reference, because it was a feminine name. I was just laughing because
no, it's the hair color.
Yeah.
I thought about it too. Don't worry. So he had smaller roles in both Rise of Planet of the Apes and War for Planet of the Apes, as well as the newer Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Was he a hedgehog?
I think he was a bar patron in Sonic the Hedgehog, but and then he played Charlie Johnson. He played Charlie Johnson in the Deck the Halls movie, and then he's been in single episodes. Yes, no, that one's not. Deck the Halls that was like an actual film. I forgot who was in it with him, but that was like an actual Christmas movie. He's been in single episodes of Smallville, Wayward Pines, Arrow, iZombie, Batwoman, and Reginald the Vampire. Also, he was a reoccurring character on Once Upon a Time.
Well, and also Reginald's very current, so that means he's a very current.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. He's still working. That's why I made sure to include. I haven't watched the series fully yet, but I think I watched part of the first.
I need to catch up. Like, it's good. It's not what we do in the shadows. Good, and so like it's
a very different vibe from what I caught.
It's a very different vibe, and but I mean, I love a vampire show regardless, and I think the humor is great. It's just I don't know why. There's something about it.
Oh, and then he was Ted Bishop in 2 episodes of Riverdale. There we go. The other actor we'll reference today is our beloved Ellsworth, played by John Tench.
I think we have a Team Ellsworth thing now. Like, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, he's amazing. But we're never gonna have him again. That's what's sad.
Oh no,
he got smoted.
Unless Ackles brings back, make that a TV show.
Right. So, but he's been in his episodes of television going back to the 80s, TNT, Street Justice, Kung Fu, the original version.
Street Justice.
Yeah.
I don't know what Street Justice is, but I immediately am going to watch that after this is over.
Fringe, and he did have a small character in a small role in one episode of Schitt's Creek.
Oh, also a modern a current actor.
Yeah. He had also like a background, like a very small, like credited role in Brokeback Mountain. He was the motel owner in the movie Shooter with Mark Wahlberg. He was I'm not familiar with this movie at all, but I had to reference it. He was the cowboy pimp in Dead Hooker in a Trunk. Okay,
awesome. Immediately watching that after this is over.
And he was the Viking leader in the American Gods series.
Ooh. So. There's some very hot Vikings in that. There's also a very hot ginger in that too. That is what Red reminds me of. And I have to I'm sorry, I don't have time to reference this, but there was a very hot Viking in American Gods that Red reminds me of. Yeah. Or maybe he was a trickster. He was Loki. I don't know. It's been a while since I watched movies.
I think I need to watch that. I've read the book. Anyways.
I don't know if you should watch it. I know you. I don't know if you should watch it. There's a giant vagina that eats things, which I love, but
I read it in the books. I'm aware of it.
I guess it's true. Yeah.
So, yeah. So this episode, I will tell you that I definitely texted Liz and said that I don't know how I feel about this episode.
Well,
it didn't hold my attention.
So first, because generally, it happens with before an episode happens, I give Diana usually some things she should know.
This one's fun. Yeah, this one's scary. This one we'll watch, whatever.
Be prepared, hold on to your butt, or and this one I was I don't know. I think just be prepared. They're going to talk about Destiel a lot. I think that was my warning.
Yeah, it was. So I was already that doesn't exactly get, that I'm not on the Destiel train. So sorry. But I said that on purpose. You're welcome. So I just kind of went in oof, but then, so the way that it was shot and the way the montages were and all that was really pretty cool. And they really did drive the storyline with the monologuing and everything and the narrating and all that. But for some reason, this episode just did not hold my attention.
Yeah, and I was trying, I don't know why.
I don't either.
I don't
have a reason.
And I was trying to figure out why. What was and I think maybe it was just part of this is just explaining it is when I watched Fast and the Furious 10 and they put Jason Momoa into the scenes afterwards, that's
right.
kind of what's happening here is that you're watching the last season and seeing all the things that you thought you saw, but you missed the subtext or other things that was going on, or just things that weren't mentioned that were happening in the background. So it's definitely an explainer, right? This is oh, hey, by the way, again, we had our very up from the last one. So here I'm gonna lie in bed and I'm gonna tell you all the shit that happened while you were busy killing Eve.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though I was there,
and it just doesn't make it it doesn't make it a super engaging episode.
But it was also it was very well written. I think I think Mark Sheppard was amazing, and it was Liz, you're never not going to think Mark Sheppard was amazing.
I know you did,
but I like the Castiel and Crowley duo. I think that's a fun dynamic, and I even Cass is just being a dick right now, but I like the interplay between the two. And we got Ellsworth, and Ellsworth was amazing, even though he was short lived. Along with Ellsworth, so there's definitely some highlights of this.
Yeah, I agree.
But that also means we have 2 more episodes of the season. So what the fuck is happening? Where do we go from here? I don't know. Where do you think we go from here?
I think it's gonna be a culmination of figuring out Cass and Crowley's shit. I think that's what it is.
So what else is I feel like I'm doing my tabletop exercise. So it's what else was not mentioned in this episode or these past couple of episodes?
Well, I haven't talked about Sam's wall in his head in a while.
Right? We just forgot that. We get 2 episodes left.
Either it's magically fixed or there's some real bad shit coming.
Yeah.
But
good times. All right, I guess we will see what happens. And who knows what'll happen in the next season 6 of Supernatural. Hold on to your tits, ladies. It's gonna be a
surprise.
Bumpy surprise.
Who could know?
Who could ever know? All right, with that, we're gonna peace out. Cheers, jerk.
Cheers, bitch.
Devil's Trap Podcast is a Don't Be a Dick production. Meow.
Devil's Trap Podcast is part of the Ship It Studios Podcast Network. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Devil's Trap Podcast, Twitter at Devil's Trap Pod, or you can email us at devilstrap@devilstrappodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave reviews, and share with all your friends. We're at all your favorite podcast outlets and at devilstrappodcast.com. I'm Babe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.